Well, that wasn't observed at all by a section of support here in Bilbao. They kept on beating the drum, they kept on singing, as now Athletic Bilbao's players form a huddle, as do Manchester United. And the noise inside Estadio de San Mamés is ramped up even more as the flags continue to fly.
It's going to be a huge ask for Manchester United tonight. They've been excellent in Europe this season, as we know, only unbeaten team in Europe, but this is their biggest test by a long way. They've performed well, they've gone to some very difficult places, performed excellently. I thought away at Lyon, they probably deserved to come back to Manchester United, to Old Trafford with a lead. They didn't, but they dug out a result somehow. Away performances in this system has worked for Manchester United, but they're playing against an extremely well-organised, defensively solid side tonight in an incredible stadium.
And Ruben Amorim was saying that they will be aggressive, they will play with an intensity, and Manchester United have got to try and silence this crowd, because it is deafening as we sit high at the back of the main stand, almost close to the roof. We're that far back as Manchester United get us underway. Choice of listening, BBC Radio 5 Live on the BBC Sounds app as well tonight. Extra in North London, you can listen to Tottenham Hotspur against Bodo Glimt, and here on 5 Live in northern Spain, live inside the stadium, Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United. And straight away, Athletic Bilbao put the ball forward, and it goes out of play for a Manchester United throw that Dorgu is going to take. But as Paul Robinson says, Manchester United, not just the only unbeaten side in the Europa League, the only unbeaten side in European competition, but Athletic Bilbao have a 100% winning record at home in the Europa League this season, winning all 6 games. Zanardi, big, powerful striker, loses the ball though, just inside the Manchester United half, and then Dorgo goes back to Lindelof.
I think they will miss Sandstad tonight. Athletic Bilbao has been their main striker. Zanardi comes in, he's a big, imposing figure of a man, 6'2", 6'3", playing up against Harry Maguire and the Williams brothers either side of him in the wide areas.
Berenguer look for the ball out to Nico Williams. He's playing central, they lost it, they've got it back. Berenguer wants out now to that far side, cross comes in from the left, and then it was almost falling to Hauri Gifa. Started strongly though, Athletic Bilbao. Here is Nico Williams, left-hand side, delivers the cross, and Dorgu didn't know where Inaki Williams was, and it's bounced off his thigh and gone behind for a corner.
Listen at the noise level, and that's just for a corner. Athletic Bilbao started really sharply. One of the centre-halves was high up in the Manchester United half pressing. Nico Williams on the left-hand side, he loops the ball up, he kind of flicks it to the back post, looking for his brother. There was no communication between Onana and Dorgu. In the end, Dorgu puts it out for a corner.
Corner kick on this near side that Nico Williams is going to take the right-footed, headed out by Maguire, down into the ground by De Galarreta, and that bouncing ball gathered in by Onana. And Onana will just wait and hang on to the ball, and they'll hope for an error-free performance from the much-maligned goalkeeper tonight.
I think they'll be looking for an error-free performance throughout the side, and I've watched a lot of Manchester United this season, especially away in Europe, and I liken the atmosphere inside here to the one at Fenerbahce, and I thought they were excellent against Jose Mourinho's side over in Istanbul. That was a really intimidating, loud atmosphere, but they controlled possession in the first half and they quietened the crowd, and that's something similar that they've got to do this evening.
We saw how they struggled with the press against Bournemouth at the weekend, and Athletic Bilbao are already looking to try and match that as Zanardi drifts out to this near side, the right, drops back a little bit. De Galarreta will pass the ball to Zanardi, then he gives it away. The Garnacho comes under pressure immediately as there's been an early goal at Tottenham. Alistair Bruce ball.
Run the header from. What a start for Tottenham. Brennan Johnson scores within 40 seconds. Porro's crossing from the right, found Richarlison at the far post, headed it back across goal, and Johnson guides his header beautifully into the far corner. Tottenham lead within a minute. Tottenham 1, Bodo Glimt 0.
So Spurs are ahead. Alistair Bruce Ball and Rob Green providing commentary on Sports Extra. 0-0 here, 3.5 minutes played, BBC Radio 5 Live. So the Manchester United side with Onana, Yoro, Maguire, Lindelof, Dorgu, Matsraoui, Ugarte, Casemiro, Garnacho, Fernandes and Højlund And in those navy blue shirts, they try and keep the ball in play on the far side, but it will be an Athletic Bilbao free kick on the left. Paul Robinson.
Those are the noises that the Manchester United players and fans want to be hearing, the boos and the whistles. That tells you that Manchester United are in possession and Athletic Bilbao are having to chase, close down and try and get the ball back.
Ball towards Garnacho. Garnacho inside the penalty area. Garnacho scores, the flag's up. Celebrations are cut short immediately. VAR will naturally have a look at that. But the flag went up very, very quickly.
Assistant on the far side did put his flag up quickly. I think it was a ball through by Højlund. Turnover of possession again. Manchester United closing high up the pitch. Casemiro wins it back. It's a beautiful touch by Bruno Fernandes. And he's played in by... Is it Bruno Fernandes plays Garnacho in? And it's going to be very tight. It's a wonderful finish by the youngster. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. Bounces it into the far bottom right-hand corner. But it is going to be a close call. VAR are checking. But good early signs from Manchester United. Pressing high in the Bilbao half. Winning the ball back. And on that turnover possession, the ball in behind quick. I think this is going to be close. I've only seen the replay once. This is going to be a very, very close call.
Got to say, my natural reaction was he was just offside, but the fact that they're taking so long...
I think there was a defender in the middle of him. There was one central defender. When you saw the initial replay and then it widened out, there's another Athletic Bilbao player in the middle of the pitch that might just have played Garnacho on. There's a good chance that this goal may stand. It's going to be very close. As you know, the longer we go, unfortunately, by the roar for Manchester United, you can guess what's happened.
Yeah, the goal doesn't stand. It remains 0-0, and Yere clears the ball away long downfield. Then a free kick. Sanadi on Dorgu, and it'll be a free kick to Manchester United. That would have been the perfect start too, wouldn't it?
It's been a great start to the game, hasn't it? It's been a really, really good start. You can feel this one bubbling under already. Athletic Bilbao pressing high. You can see their intent in the wide areas. But Manchester United have had one or two spells of possession with intent as well. Garnacho getting in behind there, getting the goal. And they've done that away this season in Europe, Manchester United.
Maguire goes to take the free kick, then leaves it for Onana, so the whistles of derision are for the time-wasting tactics from Manchester United. And then Onana picks up the ball, bounces it a couple of times, just to fuel the frustration of the Bilbao supporters. It goes long by Onana. Dorgu is forward. Højlund also rises. Yere volleys the ball away. Sanadi can't get there, and then Lindelof just touches it towards Maguire, who's the central figure of that back three. Bruno Fernandes, the captain. Yoro now, who plays on the left of that three. Fernandes quickly closed down by Oscar de Marcos. And then they lose the ball. And this is Berenguer. And Berenguer steadies himself and shoots. And Onana has to make the save. Low down to his right, two-handed, turns it behind for a corner kick.
Acres of space there, Berenguer. Striding out the middle of midfield. Nobody went to close him down. The Manchester United back three backed off and backed off. Turnover of possession. They were quick again, Athletic Bilbao. Berenguer gets himself 25 yards from goal, hits a good strike low to Onana's right-hand corner. Goalkeeper does well to get round and turn it round.
Vivian and Yere are forward from the back. In comes the corner. And it goes behind from Bruno Fernandes, who was saying he was being fouled by Sanadi, who they signed in the January transfer window from Alaves. He's only made 60. This is his 16th appearance. Corner's taken short and quickly. And then it comes in from the header at the far post. And it was... just off target. It was an opportunity to get up from the back, and I think it might have been Bachiche who headed it wide, 6 yards out from goal. Goal kick 0-0.
That was a good save by Andre Onana from Berenguer. Left-footed strike low into the goalkeeper's bottom right-hand corner. Stayed a good distance from his line. One step to his right, two-handed round the corner. That'll do his confidence the world of good, Onana.
Dorgu forward on this near side, the Manchester United left. Cleared away by Vivian, the central defender. Picked back up by Ugarte. Dorgu now to Lindelof, one of two changes that Ruben Amorim made at the weekend. After that draw against Bournemouth on the south coast. They will actually stay in Spain and train here tomorrow with the game against Brentford at the weekend. That was poorly given away. Then they win it back through Mazraoui, who redeems himself after his initial error. Bruno Fernandes hits it early in the centre circle. Garnacho latches onto it. Garnacho into the penalty area. Checks back, but then just shows too much of the ball to Yere. Picked up by Mazraoui. Right corner of the area, 0-0. 8.5 minutes played. Can't squeeze the ball to the edge of the area, and it will be cleared away by Bacice. Up it goes towards Sanade, holds it up, goes to ground, and gets a free kick for his efforts too from that foul by Maguire. Free kick to Athletic Bilbao.
That was a wonderful ball by Bruno Fernandes. You could see his initial thoughts straight away. They've got the pace of Garnacho on that right-hand side at the moment, in behind Beracice. One touch from Bruno Fernandes inside the centre circle, in behind the left full-back. Garnacho was onto it quick as a flash, and that's something that Manchester United will use tonight on the turnover of possession.
Here in the midfield is Berenguer, out towards Oscar de Marcos, who scored actually in both legs when they last played in 2012. Inaki Williams with the cross from the right-hand side, in low, gathered at his near post by Onana. We checked in yesterday. I was asking one of the receptionists about the pronunciations of certain players, notably Mikel Jaureguizar in the midfield. Turns out that it was actually his brother I was speaking to, Asia. He said, "Oh, that's my brother Mikel," and I went, "Behave yourself." He showed me a picture of him and everything. So Jaureguizar in the midfield for what has been an excellent season, given away though by Manchester United at the back, and then Nico Williams runs into trouble with Casemiro. Casemiro loses out in the challenge in the midfield by Yere. He passes the ball out wide to Sanade. Sanade provides the width on the left and now runs at Lindelof, edge of the area. Plays the ball back. In comes the cross, and the header just over the top from Inaki Williams. And really, you're thinking he should have hit the target. That darting run in.
He's got to score, hasn't he? He really has got to score. It's wonderful play on the left-hand side from Athletic Bilbao. Ball whipped into the box, 7 yards out. He's got a free header. Nobody anywhere near him. Glides into the Manchester United box between Yoro and Maguire. Nobody picking him up, 7 yards out. Onana's trying to read the cross. He's going to his far post. If only he looks up, Inaki Williams. He's got an empty net. That's a really poor miss.
Berenguer with the cross. They're going to have to pick up the 29-year-old midfielder. Although they are missing Santet in the playmaker role, he normally plays on the right, does Berenguer. He's gone into that central area for Athletic. And he's already caused a couple of problems. He's forced that good save from Onana, and then that cross from which Inaki Williams with the header, that darting run, put it wide. 0-0 it remains. Tottenham now are ahead in the other game. Choice of listening, remember, that is on Sports Extra. As Lindelof at the back at a walking pace. Yoro. Inaki Williams goes towards him. The Williams brothers, the first brothers to actually play for the Athletic Club since the Salinas brothers back in 19X. And I think Nico has more or less hinted that if they are in the Champions League next season, he would like to stay with Athletic Bilbao, despite the interest of clubs such as Arsenal and Barcelona. Spurs are ahead in the other Europa League semi-final. There's now been a goal in the game in the Premier League. Chris Coles. Unable to get to Chris at this stage. To try and re-establish the lines, but 12.5 minutes played. It is 0-0 here in the Europa League live on 5 Live.
Just seeing that replay again for that opportunity for Inaki Williams. Really was a free header, 7 yards from goal. He should score. If that's Sadadi, you think that would be 1-0 to Athletic Bilbao.
DeMarcos, fouled by Dorgu. Free kick from our referee, who is from Norway, in fact, Espen Eskars. We've got, though, a Danish fourth official, and then an Italian VAR, as Athletic Bilbao battle for the ball on the edge of the area. Manchester United to Ugarte, but he loses it in that central area. I thought that he'd fouled Jaureguizar, but instead he releases Dorgu forward on this near side. He's bundled over. Referee's not letting a lot ride. No foul there, and play continues. We'll try again with Chris Coles.
Brentford in front, Ian. Forest 0, Brentford 1. Kevin Schade with it. Long ball straight through the heart of the Forest defence. Schade in front of Sells, finds the bottom corner. Forest 0, Brentford 1.
Chelsea are in action in the Conference League. There's been a goal. John Southall.
It's gone to Chelsea. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 1. Perfect start for them. Jadon Sancho on the left of the 6-yard box took a big deflection, and in it went. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 1.
And Real Betis are leading Fiorentina by a goal to 0 in the other semi-final of the Conference League. The final is in Wrocław in Poland on the 28th of May. Paul Robinson.
We've seen a lot of gamesmanship already from Manchester United in the breaks of play. I think Harry Maguire's just taken a little bit of a knock, and as you can tell, the home supporters, they feel that he's elongating the situation longer rather than that's needed. Andre Onana, and an interesting tactic from Manchester United that we've seen tonight. Free kicks inside their own half. Onana's taken every one of them. They've put Casemiro forward alongside Højlund, and they've almost used them to slow the game down and go long as a direct tactic, and go obviously a lot longer. You know, we've seen Manchester United play out from the back along the 6-yard box and playing out, trying to break through the lines. But actually tonight they've got a free kick again now. Andre Onana level with his 18-yard box, and they've pushed players forward into an area of the pitch, and they're using this longer tactic.
Well, Onana then with the long clearance from that free kick, falls to the feet of Garnacho on that far side, the right, and he will win a throw off the legs of Nico Williams, who I'm sure you'll remember his man of the match performance against England in the Euro final in Berlin, and indeed, of course, he scored that goal against England as well. He's having the best scoring season of his career. He's scored 11 plus 8 assists so far this season. You can see why the top clubs have been circling for his signature. But Spain, along with England, do have that extra place in the Champions League for next season. So a top 5 finish would mean Champions League qualification. They are currently 4th, and they're 6 points clear of Real Betis, so they are looking good for the Champions League next season. And if an English club was lucky enough to get drawn against Athletic Bilbao, I would recommend a visit to this beautiful city in northern Spain. Certainly the Manchester United fans have been enjoying the warm weather, as the ball is passed out towards that far side by Mazraoui. Had that early goal disallowed from Garnacho, and then they're just trying to slow the pace of the game down and try and quieten the atmosphere too.
This is what they've got to do, Manchester United. They're in comfortable possession inside their own half. Maguire, Euro and Lindelof recycling the ball around, trying to pull Athletic Bilbao out of position, keep possession, take the sting out of the game, and they've done this very well away in Europe this season.
Ball is touched short. Lindelof forward, back with Maguire just outside the D of the penalty area. Manchester United playing from right to left as we look. Ugarte will go square and out towards Lindelof, and then all of a sudden Nico Williams, and he's Rob Lindelof. Nico Williams now, edge of the area, tried to play the ball in towards Sanade, and luckily for Lindelof, it was Casemiro who was able to cover and to save the day, because otherwise Athletic Bilbao were in.
Awful by Lindelof. That's one thing that Manchester United cannot afford, is individual errors. Victor Lindelof was so slow on the ball there. Nico Williams was quick, pounced on it, tried to play Ensenada, but credit to Casemiro. He tracked the runner back and he managed to win the ball back for Manchester United in what was a dangerous position. 14
appearances he played against Athletic Bilbao during his days for Real Madrid, as Euro then hammers it away on the edge of the area. Half-time now at the City Ground. Chris Coles.
Forest 0, Brentford 1. Brentford have been the breezier after their 12-day break. They deserve Sharda's goal just before half-time. Sells had earlier made an excellent save to deny Vandenberg's header. Forest yet to get going and yet to really work Mark Flecken. Forest 0, Brentford 1.
Well, that could be costly. Nottingham Forest 6th, 2 points behind Newcastle United. Very, very tight for Champions League qualification for a top 5 finish in the Premier League. We're also live on Radio Manchester this evening, our 5 live coverage, as it remains 0-0, 18 minutes played, and Højlund in a foot chase loses out to Yere, who goes all the way back towards his goalkeeper, Aguirre Zabala. Now the ball is out towards Inaki Williams, and he races onto it, gets there, right-hand side, looks up, passes the ball, and then a goal line clearance by Lindelof from Berenguer. Not too sure how much Lindelof knew about it, to be honest with you. It was a right-footed effort, and he was about a foot in front of the goal towards the left-hand post. It just struck his legs as he was side on, and Athletic Bilbao almost got their first goal.
Well, there's redemption right there for Victor Lindelof. He's just saved what was a certain goal. Scrappy defending again by Manchester United. Manchester United having problems when Mazraoui and Dorgu, the two fullbacks, push on. They leave the back three exposed to both the Williams brothers. That time it's a wonderful ball in behind to Nico Williams on the right-hand side. Cuts it back to Berenguer. It looks like an almost certain goal. First of all, Onana gets a half a block on it, and then it comes back out. Berenguer hits it, and it more inadvertently hits Lindelof rather than him blocking it. He gets the first block on it, Lindelof, then the second shot comes in again, and he blocks it again. A double block by Lindelof. Redemption.
Berenguer with a little shake of the head. Onana continues to test the patience of the home support, taking his time with a free kick. 19 minutes played, ball volleyed away downfield by De Galarreta, who's been a mainstay in this Europa League campaign. He's played in 11 of the previous 12 games. They did finish second in the league phase, 19 points along with the leaders Lazio, who were eliminated in the previous round by Bodo Glimt, the first Norwegian club ever to reach a European semi-final. And in fact, we can get an update from Tottenham with Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Tottenham leading Bodo Glimt still by a goal to nil. 17 minutes in the first half. Dream start. The header from Brennan Johnson. And Postecoglou knows it's a tricky trip to Norway next week. He knows his team will need more. They are playing well this evening. They are such an enigma, Tottenham. At the moment, they lead by a goal to nil.
So that's Ali breaking off from his commentary duties on Sports Extra, where Spurs are ahead. Chelsea also lead. They're, of course, in Sweden. It remains 0-0 here in northern Spain, but Manchester United have a free kick about 10 yards forward of the centre circle in the central area.
And they're growing in confidence. You can see the longer this game goes now for Manchester United. We've just hit that 20-minute mark, the golden 20-minute mark, where everyone says in the dressing room, right, we'll keep it tight for 20 minutes, we'll stay solid. And they've grown into this game, Manchester United. From Athletic Bilbao's point of view, yes, they have broken Manchester United down on one or two occasions, but there's nothing that I've seen so much from them that would worry me from a Manchester United point of view. Manchester United are growing in confidence.
Well, this free kick that the captain Bruno Fernandes is going to take, it's right-footed. It's chipped towards the head of Maguire, who gets his head onto it and eventually cleared away by Vivian, the Spanish international defender. But Maguire knocked to the ground, and a referee has said that it will actually be a free kick. And Maguire, as he's back onto his feet, just has a word with the Norwegian referee. Ali says that Spurs are an enigma. You look at Manchester United in their form in Europe, in contrast to the Premier League. 12 goals in their last 4 knockout games in the Europa League. 12 goals in their last 12 games in the Premier League. Bizarre.
It's quite simple. They just need to play on a Thursday night. That's it. They can play well on a Thursday night, Manchester United. And they have been excellent in this competition. But as you say, both Tottenham and Manchester United, Premier League form and Europa League form, absolutely night and day, worlds apart.
Sonardi with a layoff, links up with Inaki Williams. Sonardi now head down, runs forward, coming in now off that right touch line, still going. Sonardi just couldn't get it into the path of Berenguer. Never looked like he was fully in control. However, DeMarcos robs Dorgu. He sends in a teasing ball. There was a slip by Nico Williams on that far side, and that will allow Mazraoui to play the ball up and then back with Garnacho. Mazraoui given away by Ugarte, and the referee, though, has given an early decision in Manchester United's favour for a foul on Mazraoui, and that will be a free kick to the away side as we approach the midway point of the first half. Athletic Bilbao 0, Manchester 0.
Yeah, Manchester United have looked at the most vulnerable when they're actually going forward, and Mazraoui and Dorgu, the two wing-backs, like I've said, are pushing on. It's a difficult one for them because they've got to deal with the threat of Inaki Williams and Nico Williams on each flank. But when the two Manchester United wing-backs push on, that space that they leave in behind them has been exploited on numerous occasions, and the Manchester United back three, who are very narrow, the width of the 18-yard box, at times get exposed in those wide areas. So they've got to ensure that they're a solid defensive unit when they're out of possession.
Onana then taking his time with a free kick midway through the Manchester United half. They're playing from right to left as we look, right-footed off the chest by Højlund into the path of Ugarte. Bruno Fernandes does a 360-degree turn to Garnacho, right corner of the area, looks to go on the outside of Bacice, and he was fouled, and it'll be a free kick to Manchester United. Right-hand side, just outside the penalty area, and what are we? Probably about 14, 16 yards up from the byline.
He's looked lively, Garnacho. He's looked Manchester United's most dangerous player. Once again, he looks like he's got the beating of Bacice. He does a step over, gets past him. Left back dangles his leg out, takes the Manchester United player down and gives them an opportunity again. It's something that they've relied on. You've been quite obvious with their set plays, whether it be long free kicks or deliveries into the box from wider areas. Bruno Fernandes stood over this one, and Manchester United loading the box up.
Yuri Bacice, 35 years of age, used to be actually at the Tottenham Academy, probably just when Paul was coming to the end of his Tottenham Hotspur career, actually went out on loan to Cheltenham in the year that they got relegated from League One and made 7 appearances. Bruno Fernandes with the free kick. Sinardi heads it away. The header back from Mazraoui. And Dorgu, that last line of defence inside the centre circle, had to turn away from De Galarreta and then went all the way back to Onana, who strikes it long, right-footed over on that far side. Bocichet climbs and wins that ball. Now it's with Nico Williams, helped out by Berenguer. Backpedaling was Lindelof. Ball kept in play by Ugarte. He's then dispossessed by Berenguer, who plays it back down the left-hand side. Ugarte needed to be stronger, and the cutback will be intercepted by Garnacho, as there is a foul then on Garnacho. And it'll be a Manchester United free kick just outside the D of their own penalty area. 25 minutes played, 0-0.
Both sides are getting frustrated with the referee, but there's one thing that the referee is, and it's consistent. I mean, he's giving fouls that are clear, obvious fouls, but they're coming together on the far side over there on Ugarte. Ugarte was absolutely certain he was going to get a free kick. Sat on the floor, waited for the referee to blow the whistle, and to be fair to him, he's let a lot go, the referee, but he's not been inconsistent. He's not stopped the game for some and not others. He's actually got a bar, a level, if you like, of where he sees fouls, and he's letting the game flow, which is good.
Onana then drills this free kick, right-footed. Dorgu legs with a wide stance, directs his header, cleared by Danny Vivian. Lindelof beats Sinardi in the air. Casemiro, Yoro, triangular passing patterns. Bruno Fernandes goes in field to Ugarte, and then he loses out in the midfield to Haraguita. Coming forward is Danny Vivian, the central defender. Little flick inside by Nico Williams, goes straight to Casemiro, who tries to hit it long towards Garnacho. He's the out ball, isn't he? Garnacho coming in off that right touchline. Slice clearance now by the goalkeeper, Aguirre Zabala. And now with Højlund dropping back midway through the Athletic Bilbao half. Still 0-0 on 5 Live.
They're not going to expect to come here and dominate possession, Manchester United, but what they are doing is when they do have possession, they're taking the sting out of the game. They're in comfortable possession now. Harry Maguire at a walking pace. And as you say, Garnacho is now switched over to this left flank, been playing over on the right-hand side. He's come to this near side in the recent move that they've had. But he's the out ball, he's the pace, he's the threat.
Here is Maguire, central position. That back three, Yoro along the ground. Garnacho loses the ball, and it's quickly played towards De Galarreta. Sinardi lays it off in the midway point of the Manchester United half. Bocichet, the left back with Yeray, the central defender. Here now is Haraguita, able to turn to find Berenguer. Berenguer runs and looks for Sinardi, but that right-footed cross was arcing its way away from the goal of Manchester United to our right-hand side, and Sinardi was always going to struggle to keep it in, and it goes out for a goal kick, 0-0.
I think you look at the type of player that Sinardi is, it almost suits Harry Maguire to play against him. Similar type stature, he's not necessarily the quickest, very dominant on his left foot. Harry Maguire at the moment, 27 minutes into the game, he seems to have the reading of the striker he's playing against. But his job tonight, Sinardi, will be to occupy the Manchester United back three, and the Williams brothers will be the ones that will be looking to have the destructive edge to the game in the wide areas.
As those red and white flags continue to fly in the bottom tier away towards our left-hand side, the Athletic Bilbao supporters were all jumping up and down in unison. I think almost every single supporter is wearing red and white inside this ground tonight. The various replica kits over the years, some retro, some of the new version. The only exception is that travelling support high up in the gods away towards our right-hand side.
It's been the city the whole day, hasn't it? The minute we woke up this morning and had a look out our bedroom windows, the whole city, red and white, and it's been like that for the last 2 days. The expectancy and the anticipation that comes with a game like this.
Been a public holiday in Spain as well today. Labour Day, first celebrated back in 1889, as Dorgu tries to outstrip De Marcos on this near side, and De Marcos with a blatant push on the Manchester United left wing back. He knew he wasn't going to get there for pace. I mean, he is 36 years of age, the club captain, in his 16th season. Surprised actually he's got away without a yellow card there from the Norwegian ref.
It was a blatant push, wasn't it? Two-handed into the back of Dorgu. Dorgu had done him all ends up. It's a quite simple move for the Manchester United wing-back. Pushes it round him. and he does him for pace, and he knows that. DeMarcos, 2 hands in the back, right in front of us, in front of the the home side dugout, goes to ground, and as you say, lucky to escape a yellow card. But again, we see Manchester United loading the box from a set play in an area where you might not necessarily see them doing this.
Bruno Fernandes then with the resulting free kick, 0-0, nearly half an hour played. Bruno Fernandes is trying to get Garnacho to come away from that line of Manchester United players, and it almost falls towards Garnacho, and indeed it does, and he passes the ball outright towards Maguire. And the England international will run forward. Can he deliver the cross? Not straight away, but he has done well. He does deliver the cross, and at the far post, there is Casemiro. And Manchester United take the lead with the all-important first goal. Harry Maguire did ever so well on the right-hand side. I think Ugarte got the flick, and Casemiro with the head of the far post, and Manchester United silence the crowd in Bilbao. They lead 1-0.
Said it's been coming, said they've been growing into this game, and again it's a set play from Manchester United. No apologies from Bruno Fernandes and his teammates. They go long, they go direct, ends up with Garnacho. Harry Maguire ends up stranded on the right wing. You think, where's this going? What's going to happen here? Harry Maguire, 1 step over, 2 step overs, and he delivers a wonderful ball into the box. And it is Ugarte at the near post with a glancing header towards the far post. And Casemiro, with the easiest of tasks, nods home for Manchester United to go 1-0 up. Brilliant footwork by Harry Maguire. Outstanding cross. Ugarte's going for the far post with a flick header. Finds Casemiro, who finds the back of the net. 1-0.
All English final in Bilbao, May the 21st.
I hope so, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It's on the cards with Tottenham Hotspur leading Bodo Glimt by 1-0. The game hasn't restarted yet, but I don't think there was any danger. No one was in an offside position. But Harry Maguire, play restarts, doing the sort of work on the right-hand side that Garnacho would have been wanting to do. Harry Maguire, as now they win the ball with Ugarte. And this is Højlund coming forward. Good spell this for Manchester United. Slipped by Garnacho. Thought it might have struck his hand. He was lying on the floor at the time. Passes the ball out wide. Matsraoui joins the attack. And Højlund's almost on the end of that. He's saying he was pulled back. Danny Vivian towers over him as he complains to the Danish international. Manchester United with their tails up. Cross from Dorgu. Blocked by DeMarcos. Behind for a corner. Manchester United leading by 1-0 have a corner kick.
And you can hear the frustrations from the home support. Going 1-0 down, and Manchester United just taking the bait, snapping into tackles, turnover possession again. Højlund out to Garnacho. Garnacho's got the beating of Berecic on the right-hand side. Gets past him, and it's a wonderful ball across the 6-yard box. Højlund's claiming that he was pulled back by Vivian. Nothing given by the referee, but another corner for Manchester United. They're not in a rush to take it.
VAR would be having a look at that. We'll see how long the delay is to this corner kick, because Bruno Fernandes is currently being told to wait. It's Alejandro De Paolo, the Italian VAR. I'm not sure that there was a sustained period of holding by Vivian, but VAR clearly having a look at it. Manchester United already lead by 1-0, but there was certainly contact, I think, between the central defender and Højlund.
Well, if Højlund doesn't go down, he's got a tap in from 6 yards. So there must be some kind of contact there to make Rasmus Højlund go to ground. It was a great run, it was a great ball across the 6-yard box. Immediately Danny Vivian got up and got in Højlund's face as to whether that was a show for the referee or whether it was frustration that he thought Højlund had dived. But we are still having this long VAR check. Referee's trying to get the players away from him, but I question why Højlund would go down in that situation when he could tap it into an empty net if there was no contact. I think it's all about the level of contact.
I think the longer the delay with this VAR decision, the more chance then it has been awarded, or at least the Italian VAR official tells the Norwegian counterpart to go and have a look at the monitor.
It's a ball across from the right-hand side. It's Matsraoui. And Højlund gets goal side of Vivian, and he's got 2 hands on him. He's got 2 arms across his shoulder, and he pulls his left shoulder back. And immediately he claims to Højlund.
It's going to be given, because the referee has indicated he's going to have a look at the monitor. He comes across to this near side. Manchester United are going to get a penalty here in Bilbao.
Yep, and as I said, there was absolutely no reason that Højlund would go down in that situation. It's the referee's interpretation now as to how much force Vivian has on Højlund's shoulder. There's no way he'd go down. It's a beautiful ball by Mazraoui, right in the corridor of uncertainty. He's tapping it into an empty net. There is some contact there that's pulled him down and pulled him backwards. The referee's taking a long look. We're seeing stills, we're seeing slow motion replays. They're going backwards and forwards. This is not going to be a quick decision.
It would be a very strong referee to go against his VAR official when the guidance is you need to come and have a look at this. And he's looked at it 2 or 3 times at the monitor. He's asking for another replay. He's putting his right hand to his right ear where the communication is.
What a moment this could be for Manchester United. What a moment, what a big moment in this semi-final.
So still we wait, still they look at the constant replays. You can hear the level of frustration inside this stadium, and the referee gives the penalty to Manchester United. It's the travelling support who celebrate. And Athletic Bilbao, oh, it's a red card. It's the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. And Dani Vivian, the Spanish international defender, has been sent off.
Wow.
No attempt to play the ball.
What a change in dynamic this game has had. What a twist in the tale. This is incredible. Vivian, he stopped a goal-scoring opportunity, clearly. The referee is deemed as contact. There's nobody between Rasmus Højlund and the empty net. If he deems that's a foul, he has to go.
If there'd been a genuine attempt to play the ball and the penalty was awarded, it would have been a yellow card. There was no attempt to play. It is a straight red. Dani Vivian has been sent off. And they are apoplectic, the Bilbao players. So much so that Bachiche, who's very experienced, the 35-year-old, is having to be restrained, told to get away from the Norwegian referee. Meanwhile, Manchester United have this penalty. He's still not left the field, Dani Vivian down below.
He's going at the 4th official. He's going to have a member of the Athletic Bilbao staff actually drag him off the field. He's doing the binocular sign to the 4th official. He's now berating the assistant on this near side. There's 3 staff in the Athletic Bilbao tracksuit getting him off the field and down the tunnel.
Bruno Fernandes, 5 goals in the Europa League this season. 6 penalties out of his tally of 17 this season. It's a deafening noise trying to put off Bruno Fernandes, who scored 37 out of 41 penalties in his Manchester United career. He waits. He has to try and put the noise to the back of his mind. Steadies himself, slow run-up, stuttering run-up, right-footed, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, strokes it right-footed to the right of Aguirre Fabala. Manchester United have been here before, of course, in the Europa League, but they now lead 2-0 in this semi-final first leg.
That's a massive goal. That is a massive goal in the context of this game for Manchester United. The crowd have gone silent. It's such a big moment. Dani Vivian sent off. Bruno Fernandes, the coolest man inside this stadium. He has a straight run-up. The referee blows the whistle. There's 5, 6, 7 seconds before Fernandes even moves. He takes his time, straight run-up, stuttering run-up, looks at the goalkeeper who dives to his right-hand side. Fernandes coolly opens his foot up, strokes it into the bottom left-hand corner, and to give Manchester United the most unlikeliest of 2-goal leads.
They were 2 up against Lyon, remember, in the previous round. Before that, dramatic finale at Old Trafford, but they will certainly not want to squander a 2-goal lead here in northern Spain. There's been another goal in North London. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Tottenham have a 2-goal lead as well. James Maddison is having one of those nights. What a ball from Pedro Porro from deep. It travelled 50, 60 yards. Maddison made the run, brought it down beautifully, took it round the goalkeeper and found the bottom corner. 10 minutes to half-time. Tottenham lead Bodo Glimt 2-0.
And an all-English final looking more and more likely, although Casemiro has just given the ball towards Nico Williams. Williams shoots, takes the deflection, goes behind for a corner kick. We'll quickly get an update, see how Chelsea are faring. John Southall.
Well, they're leading Djurgården by 1-0. Should have been 2. Noni Madueke made the run. Reece James picked him out, but saved by Rinner. Great chance that. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 1.
And we'll quickly get an update from the City Ground, Chris Coles.
6 minutes into the second half, Forest 0, Brentford 1. More endeavour from Forest in the early stages of the second half. Good Anderson ball in just over Wood's head. Forest 0, Brentford 1.
Athletic Bilbao trailing by 2-0, down to 10 men. Have got a corner kick that Nico Williams was about to take, and then the referee blew his whistle, much to the annoyance of the Spanish international. But he's having a word with Bocice and Højlund at the moment, the left back and the Manchester United striker. The referee watchful on those two as they jostle for position inside that penalty area. Nico Williams with the outswinging corner, headed away by Maguire. The referee then gets in the way of Haragitha as the shot comes in and is flashed wide by Inaki Williams. Referee is not endearing himself to the Bilbao supporters.
Oh, I wouldn't like to get the lift home with him tonight, the referee. He certainly isn't endearing himself to the supporters. He really was in the way there of Haragitha. Ball comes to him on the edge of the box and the referee just bumps into him inadvertently. He had a real opportunity to take the ball down and get a strike at the Manchester United goal. But it's an important time for Athletic Bilbao now. The manager below is looking to reshuffle his pack. I think he's going to make a substitution. Formation will change, obviously losing the man. But for Manchester United, get to half-time at 2-0 up. It's an incredible result for them.
Looks like it's going to be a double change. Aitor Paredes and Andoni Gorosabel are the two players who look like they're going to come on. So two defenders, so another player is going to have to be sacrificed. At the moment, Berenguer is filling in as a left-back. Bocice has gone in to fill the void left by Danny Vivian after being sent off. Manchester United are in such a strong position with 4.5 minutes to go to half-time.
They've played well. They've grown into this game. They've taken their opportunities. And then when they sensed that Athletic Bilbao were weak after conceding that first goal, they went again. It was a wonderful ball from Mazraoui that created the penalty. And now Manchester United, at the moment, pedestrian speed, in full control of this tie away from home.
Could be 6 clubs in the Champions League from England next season, if it will be an all-English final here on the 21st of May. Manchester United, it's been an eventful campaign, certainly, but you would think playing against the 10 men of Athletic Bilbao now and a 2-goal lead, is it too early to say they've got one foot in the final?
I think the support and the team, the way that they play here, Athletic Bilbao, I think it's a long way from over, but they're certainly in an advantageous position.
Now looking to try and make that extra man count. They are on the front foot. Garnacho laid it out to the left. Dorgu wins another corner kick. And now we can see how this double change is going to be impacted. Oscar De Marcos, the club captain, is going to come off. So that will be Gorosabel to replace him. So Oscar De Marcos makes way. There'll be no repeating of his heroics where he scored in both legs when they played in 2012. Andoni Iraola, incidentally, in that last 16 Europa League tie 13 years ago, played in both games, the Bournemouth manager. And then the other change is Aitor Paredes, who is come on, and it is Berenguer who has gone off. So the attacking midfielder is Manchester United with the corner, flicked on by Casemiro, blocked, comes out towards Bruno Fernandes, shows too much to Nico Williams. That ball will run loose, and Ugarte on the cover just chips the ball high and out of play. It goes for a throw. Manchester United still lead 2-0, 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. Paul Robinson.
Waiting to see how Athletic Bilbao are going to set up when the game settles again. The breaking play now, they've got a throw-in on this near touchline. But it's been excellent from Manchester United, it really has. They had to control the onslaught, the initial onslaught, the atmosphere, the anticipation before the game. But they've coped with everything extremely well. And to get to this point, 2 goals up, playing against 10 men, he couldn't have wished for any better, Ruben Amorim.
No, and certainly it makes you think, doesn't it, about the chances that Athletic Bilbao had before, that Berenguer testing Onana, that Inaki Williams header that should have gone in, and then the goal-bound effort that was from Berenguer, blocked by Lindelof. So they did have their moments as the ball is chipped in by Bruno Fernandes. Dorgu, flag stays down, onto his right foot, back onto his left, and shoots and almost beats the goalkeeper. Aguirre Thalabala inside his near post, but then the flag is up and it will be a Free kick to Athletic Bilbao. We have 90 seconds to go to half-time. Manchester United lead by 2-0. Djurgården, Chelsea. John Southall.
Djurgården 0, Chelsea 2. Too easy this for Chelsea. Noni Medwake on the right of the area, totally unmarked, and stroked it in at the near post. It's been comfortable in this first half for Chelsea. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 2.
So all English sides leading 2-0 in their respective ties tonight.
And an all-English final. Dare we tempt it? Dare we tempt it? Certainly look forward to a trip back here. It's been sensational thus far, hasn't it? Great atmosphere, great city. And I think the home support are a little stunned as to what they're seeing on the pitch.
Well, before that, you've got the small matter of a trip to the Arctic Circle next week.
I'm just glad I didn't have to pack in the same bag.
It'll be a lot colder than northern Spain, I can guarantee you that. Garnacho for Manchester United, back with Harry Maguire. Comes to a standstill on the halfway line inside the centre circle. And Athletic Bilbao, with 4 minutes of added on time, are on the defensive, but the ball is threaded through to Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes goes through to score, right-footed. A double for the Manchester United captain. They lead by 3-0, and they surely have 1 foot in the final now. Athletic Bilbao 0, Manchester United 3.
Amazing, absolutely amazing from Manchester United. Athletic Bilbao are falling apart in front of our eyes. Home supporters got their head in their hands. The stadium's fallen absolutely silent apart from those Manchester United fans away high to our right. Bruno Fernandes gets put through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Again, Manchester United controlling possession. It's an inadvertent 1-2 with Rasmus Højlund onto Ugarte, who just nonchalantly flicks it with the outside of his right boot into the path of Bruno Fernandes. He's in behind the Bilbao defence. Goalkeeper dives down to his right. Fernandes stays cool, lifts it up and over the goalkeeper into the other corner. Manchester United 3-0 up away from home.
Well, they're stunned here inside the San Mamés Stadium, the cathedral as it is known. The only two teams to win here in the last 45 games, a run going all the way back to August 2023, are Osasuna and Atletico Madrid. And yet, they find themselves 3-0 down to Manchester United. And they came into this game with such high hopes, and it is unravelling before their eyes. Down to 10 men, 3-0 down. Manchester United are looking to try and make the return leg at Old Trafford a mere formality.
Genuinely can't believe what I'm seeing here. Really can't. The performance from Manchester United and the capitulation of Athletic Bilbao. But that's credit to Manchester United and the way that they've approached this. Not in their wildest dreams did they think that they would have a 3-goal lead going into half-time in the first half of this game. They've been dangerous. They've taken their opportunities. They've had a clear game plan, as they're doing now. Andre Onana's got the ball and they're kicking it long. They've gone long in set plays, they've loaded the box up, and the most of all, they've been very effective in what they've done.
Manchester United leading 3-0 in stoppage time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Athletic Bilbao cannot afford to concede any more goals. They have to try and get something back, but they can't keep going forward, because if they leave any more gaps, this tie's going to be over.
Well, they're in full control, Manchester United. They're recycling the ball around the back there. Casemiro, he had no options. He knew that he could just hook it back over the top, that his goalkeeper Onana was there, Maguire was there. The back three of Manchester United, they're having to deal with one striker now. They've reverted back to the back four, Athletic Bilbao. They've still got a back four. They've got the two holding midfielders, and they've got the lone striker who's going to cut a very, very lonely figure. Manchester United are extremely dominant and in complete control.
3-0. What a first half it has been for Ruben Amorim and his players. This was expected to be a stern test for them. However, they're making a mockery of that now. Here is Dorgu on this near side to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes cuts it back, it bounces off Ugarte. Højlund was there and goes behind for a corner kick. Looked like maybe Højlund was in an offside position, but flag has stayed down. And the officials once again are coming in for lots of stick from the home support.
He was miles offside, Højlund. A good move again by Manchester United. Fernandes reverses it to the edge of the box. Do you know, looking at the replay, they've been tight. The Athletic players are looking over to the assistant, looking for the flag. It was a close one, but Manchester United again with a set play just before half-time.
Bruno Fernandes with a corner, flicked on at the near post. Yoro might come out towards Mazraoui. He hits the crossbar. Hit it first time, left-footed, just outside the D. And it rattled the stanchion.
What a strike. What a strike from Mazraoui on his left foot. Hit the joint of post and bar. The goal to the left is still rattling. Well worked corner by Manchester United. Mazraoui's got no other intention other than to hit that whip, curl, bend, smashes against the crossbar. Manchester United could have had 4.
Mazraoui, whose last goal was in May 2023. He's only scored 1 goal in about 3 years. Still yet to score for Manchester United, and almost got a 4th. But the 4 minutes of injury time are over, and Manchester United, with their supporters celebrating over on that far side at the half-time whistle, are in such a great position. But this is the reception that greets the Norwegian referee as he leaves the field of play. Hoots and howls inside Bilbao, but Manchester United at the break. Athletic Bilbao 0, Manchester United 3.
Ian, Paul, thank you very much indeed. Andros Townsend, Phil Jones with us in the studio here. Wow. I mean, Phil, firstly, is that the best 45 minutes under Ruben Amorim?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I think the way he set his team up to play in this game, a big game, has been, he deserves a lot of credit for that. I'm very surprised the way Bilbao have played. I expected a lot more aggression, a lot more intensity. I thought they would come out at United and really have a right good go and press from the front. They haven't done that. They've been a bit lethargic. They've gifted a lot of opportunities, but fair play to United. I think they've done really well. They've countered when they can. They've stayed in a nice compact shape and broke from that shape with numbers. Garnacho 3-0. What a half.
Andros, take away, if you can, the sort of idea of what feels fair or unfair. With the rules as they are, once that penalty is given, does Vivian have to go?
I think once the penalty has been given, he does have to go. Do I think it should have been a penalty? Probably not.
Really?
You'd have wanted one of them. You'd have wanted
100%,
that.
100%. But if the referee had given it, you'd say penalty. But for VAR to overturn the referee's decision, was it clear that he had enough of a tug of his shirt and that impacted Højlund to make him go down? I'm not so sure.
I think if it's the Premier League, you don't get it. I think in Europa League, you do get it. But what I will say is, I think it's a penalty, but to send him off as well. And I know I don't blame the referee. I don't blame the referee because he's doing what he's been told to do. But the people, honestly, the people writing these rule books do not understand football. Like, show a bit of common sense. He's not a deliberate. It's not a red card, but it's 3-0 up, and I'm happy.
Yeah, there's the rules, and whether you agree with the rules, and both points are absolutely very pertinent. What a first half it's been for English clubs in Europe tonight. Manchester United absolutely flying, on their way to the final, you'd think, and Tottenham Hotspur have started brilliantly against Bodo Glimt, Ali Bruce Ball.
Yeah, riddle me that, Steve. Can you fathom Manchester United? Can you fathom Tottenham? They've been really good tonight, built an imposing atmosphere inside the stadium before the game, came flying out of the blocks. Brennan Johnson's header beautifully guided in the first minute of the game. Bodo Glimt are missing key players here. Tottenham recognise this is their opportunity, and they are onto them all the time. The second goal, Rob Green, former England goalkeeper, watching the game with me tonight. What a peach of a goal from James Maddison.
Yeah, it was a wonderful ball into him, but from there, the run, the touch, just said everything about James Maddison and what sort of mood he's in tonight. I think he knows he's got the beating of this team on his own, and he's got the pawns around him just to manipulate the game how he wants to. Spurs are on song. They're a really good side to watch when they're like this. Sorry for them, but they've got another sort of game and a half to play.
Yeah, this is Tottenham season, this tie, and they know tonight is the opportunity, Steve. Going to Northern Norway next week is going to be tricky, and Postecoglou will demand more. It couldn't have gone better in the first half, really, though. They lead Bodo Glimt by 2-0.
Andros Townsend so excited he just knocked his microphone over.
No, we spoke before the game about a surprising lineup for Spurs, and I think you could see in the first 5 minutes why, and Postecoglou played the team he did. Bodo Glimt playing a ridiculously high line, so the managers put 2 passing centre midfielders on, Bentancur, Basuma, Maddison when he drops in, Pedro Porro. They're just feeding the balls in behind. You've got 3 willing runners, Brennan Johnson, Solanke, Richarlison, who are just chasing absolutely everything. And the second goal came from it, but there was 3 or 4 instances before that where Spurs could have capitalised as well.
So Spurs 2, Bodo Glimt 0, Athletic Bilbao 0, Manchester United 3. Second half commentary from San Mamés here on 5 Live and from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on 5 Sports Extra. Conference League playoff semi-finals going on as well. Chelsea in Stockholm. John Southall.
Yep, it's a full set at half-time because it's Djurgården 0, Chelsea 2 at half-time. Controlled, dominant first-half performance from Chelsea. The opening goal after 12 minutes. Jadon Sancho left of the area. His shot came off Danielson and in it went. Madueke could have added a second from 6 yards, denied by Rinner. He made amends just before half-time, unmarked on the right of the area and stroked in his 11th goal of the season. One chance for the home side. Tokmak's effort saved by Jurgensen late on in the half, but Chelsea in total control at half-time. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 2.
So Chelsea, Spurs, Manchester United all feeling very comfortable. I imagine the City ground is anything but Chris Coles.
Nervy. They realise how big tonight could be, and it's not going the home fans' way. Forest 0, Brentford 1. They have been better, Forest, in this second half, creating much more. Chris Wood with a header, just glanced wide. But the problem is they're leaving so much space for Brentford to counter-attack into that you wouldn't be surprised if the visitors got a second. Still 20 minutes to play. Forest 0, Brentford 1.
Thank you very much, Chris. So we'll keep you up to date with that. Second half commentary on the way in the Europa League. Between now and then, we'll be back to the World Snooker Championship. We're also going to speak live to Rodri Jones, the Managing Director of Rugby League Commercial, off the back of comments from Catalan Dragons star Luke Keary about Super League. Talking in the Australian media, he has described the competition as horrendous and unwatchable. So reaction on the way to that before second half commentary in the 2 Europa League games. Let's get the news now on 5 Live with Al Tansley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Donald Trump says his national security advisor Mike Waltz will leave his job, confirming reports in American media. He'll be nominated to serve as US ambassador to the United Nations. He's been under pressure after he included a journalist in a Signal group chat where high-ranking officials planned military strikes in Yemen. Ambassador John Bolton was a national security advisor during President Trump's first term.
It's fine to be UN ambassador. I can tell you, as somebody who's held that job, it's a great job to have and a great honor to serve, but it's not a normal line of progression, and certainly not under the current circumstances. This is the kind of chaos that enveloped Trump in his first term, certainly in the national security area when critical decisions have to be made, and it's now seeping over into the second term.
Harrods says it's the latest British retailer to have been targeted in a cyber attack. The firm said it had restricted internet access at its sites after an attempt to gain access to its systems. The Co-op and Marks & Spencer have also been hit by hackers in recent days, but there's been no confirmation of a link. President Zelensky has praised the deal that's been signed with the US on exploiting Ukraine's reserves of minerals and fossil fuels. He called it a truly equal partnership and said it was the first tangible outcome of his recent meeting with President Trump before the Pope's funeral. Police in southern France are investigating the murder of a British South African woman who was stabbed to death in what's been described as a frenzied attack. Karen Carter was 65 and owned a guest house near Bordeaux. And a national 2-minute silence will be held at noon next Thursday to mark the 80th anniversary of VE Day. The government said it would be a chance to remember those who fought in the Second World War.
Welcome to today's quiz. Here's the question.
We're asking, what do you want the future of the BBC to look like?
And the good news is, there's no wrong answer.
We want to know what you think because the BBC belongs to all of us. To have your say, look out for an email or visit bbc.co.uk/RBBC, our future.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Goal at Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, Chris Coles.
It's another for Brentford. Forest Champions League ambitions being severely dented tonight. It's such an uncharacteristic goal for them to concede. Johan Visser has it, gets the wrong side of Milenkovic, dinks it beautifully over the on-rushing Matt Sells. Brentford still have hope of sweeping up the minor European places, and this scoreline does them the world of good in that regard. 19 minutes to play, Forest 0, Brentford 2.
So we'll be back to the live football shortly. We're going to talk rugby league now. Catalan Dragons star halfback Luke Keary has made some really dramatic comments about the state of Super League. He was talking to Australian media and he called the competition horrendous and unwatchable. He said, "I'll go on the record saying it's in such a bad way. The game is horrendous. The product, the coverage, the news around the game, there is zero." A bit of context, reports in Australia have suggested that their National Rugby League, NRL, want to buy a significant stake in Super League. On that, Keary said if the NRL don't buy Super League, they're in a lot of trouble. All the players are open to it. That's what he had to say. Let's speak to the Managing Director of Rugby League Commercial, Rhodri Jones. Rhodri, thank you for speaking to us. There's a lot to take in there. What's your reaction?
Evening, Steve. Good to hear from you. They were dramatic. Certainly when I woke up this morning and saw them, they were certainly dramatic. Luke's clearly entitled to his own opinion. I'm not necessarily in agreement with what he's got to say. From our perspective, our figures are showing that we're having a very positive season. Our attendances are up, our TV audiences, both across Sky Sports and BBC, are up. And probably there's a little bit of Luke being in France. He might be a little bit out of the mainstream somewhat in terms of seeing the positivity for the game here in the UK. But he'll get a real feel for that this coming weekend with Magic Weekend up in the northeast at St James's Park, where we'll play in front of 65,000 people on Saturday against Lee Leopards.
Damaging comments?
I think honest from a person who's been involved in the competition for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, I would say. I think, I recognise Luke has played at the very top of the game in Australia. And the game in Australia is very much akin to the Premier League over here. And that Sydney bubble, it's non-stop media, it's front page, back page. And that's what he's used to. But, I'd maintain that we're heading in the right direction. We are working with the NRL. You saw us in Las Vegas earlier in the season with Wigan and Warrington. The Ashes are coming here in the autumn with 2 sellout crowds at Everton and Headingley, with Wembley over 30,000 tickets sold. And again, we've got Magic Weekend this weekend, which is raising the profile of the competition in this country. And he'll also be involved in a sellout next weekend in a Challenge Cup semi-final against Hull KR. So, I think maybe over the next week or so, Luke might have a different opinion on Super League.
Genuine question, Rhodri. Do you feel as measured as you sound about this? Because you do sound very measured.
Thank you. Look, I was surprised. I was surprised by what he had to say. I did speak to the club, his club, this morning, and they too were surprised. I think they would be disappointed, perhaps, with how dramatic his comments were, especially with. I know Mark had Steve McNamara on Monday night, and Steve, was talking positively about French teams in Super League and what they bring to the competition, and I guess that smacks in the face a little bit of what Steve was saying on Monday night. So, it's disappointing. I actually saw and met Luke for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and he asked me about the NRL, and I gave him a very honest answer, which was, we are talking. We've got a positive working relationship with them. Vegas and Ashes being 2 examples. There's a lot of ongoing dialogue with the NRL, but there's also a lot of media speculation in both hemispheres. So at this point in time, it's who knows what the future could look like. It's interesting, and no doubt we'll probably bump into each other over the weekend as well.
So one of the things I found really interesting there, Rhodri, is from what I've read, and obviously I'm happy for you to tell me this isn't the case, but from what I've read, when it comes to potential NRL investment, they are very keen on the inclusion of French teams like Catalan. So if that is the case, does that make these comments an issue for you from that perspective? Because not everybody in the sport might take them in as measured a way as you have.
I can see that. I think to answer the first part, from what I'm reading as well, and you and I probably reading the same things, it feels like if the NRL are to get involved in the Super League competition, that it would have a French influence to the competition. Which, look, I think the Dragons have been a positive news story narrative over the last 19 years in the Super League competition. It's just the economics of their inclusion is the question at the moment, and that needs to be further discussed. It is the honest kind of position on the Dragons. Like I say, Steve, I come back to Luke's he's been in the competition for 9 rounds. He's been in France out of the mainstream. Look, I think we can do a lot of things that can convince him that perhaps he's been a bit overdramatic in his comments.
Rodri, thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
That's Rodri Jones, the Managing Director of Rugby League Commercial. One of the sports story in cricket, 3 days after his record-breaking century in the IPL, 14-year-old Vaibhav Suryavanshi out for a 2-ball duck, ready to go in Bilbao. Ian, all yours.
Second half underway. Manchester United lead by 3-0 against the 10 men of Athletic Bilbao. And they've made another change, have Athletic Bilbao. Prados, a midfielder, has come on for De Galarreta in the midfield. So Aguirre Zabala is in goal. Garasabel, Yere, Paredes and Pachiche is how they line up defensively now. In the midfield you've got Jauregui and Prados, with Inaki Williams and Nico Williams and Sanade through the middle. And they're in their red and white striped shirts and black shorts against a Manchester United side that are leading through 2 goals from Bruno Fernandes, 1 from the penalty spot after Casemiro's header gave them the lead on the half hour. So they scored 3 goals in about a 15-minute period, and they almost got a 4th through Matsraoui, who hit the crossbar in first half injury time. Onana is in goal at back 3 of Yoro, Maguire, Lindelof, Matsraoui, Dorgu, Casemiro, Ugarte, Garnacho, Fernandes and Højlund. 3-0, and in the dream scenario for Amorim.
They're in full control at the moment, Manchester United. Looking at the changes that Athletic Bilbao have made, they're coming out now and they're in a clear 4-4-1 formation. Inaki Williams on the right and Nico Williams on the left will be the ones charged with joining Sanade as a striker. Defensively, they cannot afford to concede. Manchester United are in an extremely good, strong position in this game.
A reminder, a choice of listening on Sports Extra. We have commentary of the other semi-final, where Tottenham Hotspur are leading Bodo Glimt by 2-0. In the Premier League, Brentford lead Nottingham Forest 1-0. Chelsea are 2-0 up at Djurgården in the UEFA Conference League semi-final. So that's on Sports Extra if you want the game in North London. And both semi-finals second legs will be covered next Thursday as well. Once we see how the land lies after the 90 minutes tonight, will the bosses decide which goes on 5 Live next Thursday, and then the other one on Sports Extra. 24 hours after we'll be live in Paris next Wednesday for the return leg of Paris Saint-Germain against Arsenal. But before that, a whole host of commentaries to bring you the weekend in the Premier League. Brentford's Manchester United game, incidentally, at 2 o'clock will be on Sports Extra this coming Sunday. We're also joined tonight on Radio Manchester, and those travelling supporters, 2,600 of them, high up in the gods behind the mesh netting in that far corner, watching on, will be thinking, what a scoreline this is. The best defensive side in La Liga have seen that back line breached 3 times. Even Ruben Amorim was saying yesterday about that, how they struggle to score goals, or they have, maybe in the Premier League, not necessarily in the last 4 matches in the knockout stages. They've added another 3 to their tally.
Well, you look at Manchester United's recent record scoring goals against, what do you say, the best defence in the league. They've only conceded 26 goals in 33 games. It's an incredible defensive performance, and that combination of Manchester United being unable to score against that defence, you thought all that added together, as well as what a good side they are, Athletic Bilbao. What a tough task it was for Manchester United.
Very much so. They only conceded 2 in the 6 previous home games in this competition, where they've scored 14 and have won all 6. And Nico Williams being challenged, snapping at the heels there was Lindelof. The ball goes out of play. They did have their moments in the first half, but Manchester United just seized the initiative, and then obviously that sending off not helping the cause for Athletic Bilbao, who've only suffered one defeat in 8 previous home games against English opposition. That was against Liverpool in 1983 when Ian Rush scored the only goal. That was probably when they had Goicoechea, wasn't it? The butcher of Bilbao, that tough tackling no-nonsense defender, if memory serves me right. But 5 minutes into the second half, and Manchester United have been carving up Bilbao here, 3-0.
It's a concentration exercise as well for Manchester United. They are going to dominate the possession in the second half, and individual errors they can't let creep into the game. Athletic Bilbao are going to have a go, they're going to take their opportunities, but Manchester United can use that to their advantage and try and exploit the spaces that they leave in behind them with only 10 men on the field.
Ball is played out, the referee again gets in the way. That's the second time that the referee has got in the way tonight. Unfortunate really as he runs his lines, but again he's absolutely berated by the Athletic Bilbao supporters. Nico Williams runs forward almost a third time. Don't think he actually helped there for a stumbling Buttigieg, as then the ball is passed out wide towards that far side. They're looking for just something to cling on to. They had hopes for their third European semi-final, like the previous two in the late 70s when they reached the final in the UEFA Cup in 76, 77, and more recently in the Europa League in 2012 of winning those two previous semi-finals. But the added significance of it being played in this stadium, but those dreams lay in tatters at the moment. 3-0. Garnacho forward for Manchester United, right-hand side, strikes the heels of Buttigieg, and out for a Manchester United throw on the right. 3-0 they lead.
Defensively they're going to have to be solid, Athletic Bilbao, and as soon as Manchester United have the possession, those two banks of 4, they drop very deep and allow Manchester United comfortable possession in front of those red and white shirts. What Manchester United have to do, listen, they've got an opportunity tonight to finish this tie, they really have. If they haven't done it already with 3 goals, if they can go on now against 10 men and get 4, potentially more, that puts the tie to bed and it's job done, and they've got a real opportunity to do that tonight. But the one most important thing is they keep that 0 next to their name.
Just for clarification, I hadn't updated my crib sheet at half-time. Brentford lead Nottingham Forest 2-0, of course, at the City Ground, and that is a serious setback for Nottingham Forest Champions League aspirations in their attempt to get back into the top 5. Lindelof strokes the ball towards Maguire, comes onto it as a gentle pace as he ambles his way forward. Yoro then back towards Maguire. They played with an intensity at the start. They were keen to press Manchester United. They did actually win the ball on a couple of occasions, but they're a little more reluctant to go forward now with that same levels of desire, as therefore Manchester United are not coming under any pressure at the back. And Casemiro out towards Dorgu. The return ball by Bruno Fernandes. He fires it in. Garnacho, was he fouled? He almost said, as he appeals to the referee, again, as he and Højlund try and get onto that low ball in from the left-hand side. Why would Garnacho go to ground in that instance? It's a similar situation for Højlund in the first half where a penalty was awarded.
It's not a similar situation, it's a carbon copy. This time it's from the other side, it's Dorgu, plays the ball across the 6-yard box. Garnacho gets in front of his marker. There looks to be a little bit of contact, but the referee's not interested this time. Garnacho, to be fair, he was a fair way off the ball. Good ball in by Dorgu, but again, almost a carbon copy, and that's what Manchester United have to do. The turnover possession, get Dorgu in those wide areas, crosses in the box, along the floor, what's been so dangerous for them. They are in complete control, Manchester United. They have to stay this way for the rest of the game.
Athletic Bilbao have got the dilemma though, haven't they? They need to try and get something to give themselves a foothold or a toe back into this game, but they can't concede another one.
Well, you look at where they are now. What are they, 15 yards outside their own box, the back 4. Manchester United have got comfortable possession on the halfway line. 2 banks of 4. So you can see clearly from high up here in our elevated position in the main stand, looking down on what looks like a Sabutio pitch at times. The view is excellent. There's 2 banks of 4, red and white shirts. And Sanadi, the striker, he cuts a very lonely figure, running from side to side, chasing lost causes.
Here is Lindelof as he steps forward. Just slips it into the path of Højlund. Fernandes to Ugarte, it was chipped forward. Mazraoui wins it back, plays it out towards Garnacho, right-hand side. Mazraoui still there. Garnacho, though, running away from the right corner of the penalty area. Manchester United in their dark blue shirts and grey shorts, playing from left to right as we look. Maguire back with Lindelof on the halfway line, and Lindelof coming forward now, back then with Maguire, but there's no pressure on that back line. Casemiro, who got the first goal, just drops into the centre circle, takes it off Maguire, out towards Garnacho, and then tried to link up with Ugarte. The move breaks down and Garnacho tries to go in pursuit of the ball, and there was Julian Aguirre-Zabala, the goalkeeper, all in orange, who comes out and smothers. And he has the ball and he waits for those red and white striped shirts to push on downfield as they trail 3-0 10 minutes into the second period.
There's no pressure on the Manchester United defence when they have the ball. As soon as Athletic Bilbao lose the ball, they drop deep into that shape. Like I said, Harry Maguire, Euro and Lindelof, they can recycle the ball around at the back for as long as they like. Bilbao are not going to press until they hit that line of midfielders, which is quite deep in their own half.
Bilbao was awarded the Europa League final after, as the venue was replaced by Seville when they were withdrawn by UEFA for to be a host city for Euro 2020 due to the COVID pandemic. And after doing so well in the league phase, I think many would have thought what a scenario it would be to be playing in a European final in your home ground. Not so. Not unless something dramatic happens.
They're stunned, aren't they, the supporters? They're really stunned around us. I mean, there's a section over to our left-hand side trying to get the singing going. But I said to you at half-time, I said I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these leave the way that the team played in the first half and how frustrated they were. But you've got to give them so much credit. There's not an empty seat to be had. The stadium's absolutely full. Granted, the moods change very quickly.
Could change again if Manchester United were to add another goal. As Garnacho passes the ball forward to the feet of Mazraoui, looks to try and turn, plays the ball in field. Ugarte, it was a nice turn, just slightly behind Bruno Fernandes, move breaks down. Picked up by Inaki Williams over on that far side, the right. Looks for the run of Sonardi, who shrugs off Harry Maguire. And then the referee says no free kick, where I thought Sonardi, involved in a bit of a tussle with Harry Maguire, got goal side. And much to the bemusement, bewilderment, the decision didn't go in favour of the Athletic Bilbao player, and the supporters are incandescent with rage.
It's carnage, it's absolute carnage. Everyone to a person is off the seat waving their arms. White handkerchiefs are getting waved at the referee. The game's now stopped and the Athletic Bilbao players surround the referee and ask about that decision. Sonardi got goal side of Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire looked at one point like he was going to get outpaced. He muscled Sonardi off the ball, who did go to ground quite easily. But in that instance, if the referee gives a free kick against Maguire, he's then got to send him off because he's the last man. The white handkerchiefs, white pieces of paper, they're all over the place.
They formed a mosaic when the teams came out. They're now turning around those placards and they're showing the white, so you've got white bits of paper as well as the handkerchiefs that are being waved in direction of the referee, who is now only fueling the fire as he comes across and shows a yellow card to a member on the bench of the Athletic Bilbao coaching staff down below. I've got to say, I thought it was a foul. Play meanwhile continues, and Inaki Williams holds off the challenge of Højlund, but still they are angry.
That's an understatement. I think if I was that referee, I'd be waiting for the stadium to clear before I even left, probably until tomorrow morning, the way that things are at the moment. I mean, it's getting to see it again on the replay now. There's a coming together, there's a tussle between them, and it does look like Maguire catches Sonardi. He's very unlucky not to get a free kick there, the Athletic Bilbao striker.
Amidst the din, the instruction from the studio, an update from Tottenham. Alistair Bruce Ball.
9 minutes played in the second half. Slightly stilted, soporific start by Tottenham. They lead 2-0, but not the same intensity or noise. Fans are trying to lift them now. They've had a couple of corners, not been able to do anything with them. Comfortable at the moment, though. They lead Bodo Glimt 2-0.
Certainly, soporific is not a word that you would use inside this stadium.
One for the glossary.
3-0 to Manchester United. Well, they've got the narrative, haven't they, to blame the referee although that wouldn't necessarily be completely accurate, would it?
No, I mean, the penalty was given by the VAR official. The referee didn't actually give the penalty on the field. The players were lined up and waiting for play to restart. He had to come over, look at his monitor and take advice from the VAR official. But you do feel, the home fans feel slightly begrudged to the referee's performance tonight. Manchester United have had most of the decisions.
Manchester United against the 10 men of Athletic Bilbao. 30 minutes remain. Casemiro and Lindelof having a little bit of a disagreement down there in the middle. Lindelof will just take the ball away by Sinade. Manchester United keep their concentration, keep their discipline, don't allow Athletic Bilbao back into the game. This will be a sort of scoreline that many Manchester United fans who've travelled here to northern Spain could only possibly have dreamt about, as Yoro under pressure from Inaki Williams. Maguire, Yoro clears the ball away. 3-0.
Well, these are chances that Manchester United didn't take in the first half. They don't need to be taking chances. Maguire and Yoro playing the silly short passes in and around their own 18-yard box, putting the ball at risk. They don't need to give Athletic Bilbao any type of inclination. They can get back in this game.
Yerai's just been booked, snapped into the challenge and caught Garnacho. Another goal in the UEFA Conference League semi-final in Sweden. Djurgården, Chelsea, John Southall.
And surely this ties over. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 3. Terrible mix-up between Stahl and his goalkeeper Reiner, and Nicholas Jackson profited, snuck in and tucked it in. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 3.
It was a poor challenge, that, wasn't it, from Yerai?
Really poor challenge. The frustration that we're feeling in the stands all around us is slowly creeping down onto the pitch. The home dugout below us keeps emptying out every time the referee blows the whistle, and the players in turn are getting frustrated as well.
It's not the red and white scarves that are being swirled around their heads. Instead, that cry, that defiant cry inside the San Mamés Stadium. The arms were aloft of every Athletic supporter. Their side trailing 3-0. Højlund pulls it to the edge of the area. Ugarte gets the shot away on the rise, right-footed, patted down by the goalkeeper, Aguirre Zabala.
Good centre-forward play. Rasmus Højlund gets in behind, he holds the ball up, he's got his back to goal, sees Ugarte on the edge of the box, who does well with his first touch, creates space, but unfortunately for him, he can only shoot straight at the goalkeeper.
He just walked into the stadium now, and you look at the support from Athletic Bilbao, you wouldn't actually believe that their team are trailing by 3-0.
Are coming together in adversity, I think, something along them lines, isn't it?
It certainly is. Here is Ugarte. Live on BBC Radio 5 Live, also live on Radio Manchester tonight. And the Tottenham game is currently on Sports Extra, both available through the BBC Sounds app. 62 minutes played. Ugarte at a walking pace, just ushers Yoro to come forward. Dorgu has stayed high up on that far side, the left. Back with Ugarte. Full time at Nottingham Forest. Chris Coles.
Nottingham Forest 0, Brentford 2. Forest Champions League ambitions dented by an efficient Brentford. Schade in the first half, Visser in the second. Two very similar goals. Forest look tired and a long way off their best. They stay 6th. Brentford right in the mix for a Europa Conference spot. Forest 0, Brentford 2.
Manchester United are going to make a change. De Ligt is going to be coming on. Here is Mazraoui, gets the ball out towards Garnacho. Garnacho in the penalty area, back towards Mazraoui with his back to goal. Casemiro! Placed effort, right-footed, tipped over by the goalkeeper. Aguirre Zabala, it was on target too. Corner kick to Manchester United, they lead 3-0.
Decent effort by Casemiro. This is what Manchester United are doing. They're weaving their way in behind this Athletic Bilbao defence, creating chances for themselves. This time it's Casemiro at the edge of the box. Didn't really get enough power and purchase on the shot. Probably trying to be too precise. Easy one for the goalkeeper, but he has to tip it over and concede another corner.
Bruno Fernandes waits to take the corner kick. Manchester United in their dark blue shirts. Short corner on the near right-hand side. And almost an opportunity for Casemiro inside the 6-yard box on this near side. Might have just clipped the outside of the post and into the side netting, almost a fourth.
Such a simple corner from Manchester United. All the intricacy that we've seen in the set plays that they've had tonight. That's just a simply whipped near post out-swinging corner from Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro completely unmarked, clatters his header against the near post. That's unfortunate. Really good jump, leap by Casemiro at the near post.
Leading 3-0. Then consider that Matsouis hit the crossbar, Casemiro the post, and they also had a goal disallowed.
And who says they can't score goals?
Well, they have certainly taken their opportunities tonight. De Ligt and Ahmad, both in training yesterday. And in fact, we're also going to see Mason Mount coming on too. So it's going to be a double change. But for De Ligt to get a run out here, he's been out with an ankle problem. Missed the last 6 matches since the start of April. And Maguire is going to be coming off. He's been told to hurry up by the referee. So Harry Maguire, that dramatic winner against Lyon, and then his superb work on the right-hand side for the first goal. He comes off for De Ligt, and then the other change will be Ugarte coming off for Mason Mount.
Excellent night's work for Harry Maguire once again. In the news, not for his defending, but for his twinkle toes, this time on the right wing. Wonderful assist in the first half, or pre-assist as we call it now, don't we? Because Ugarte got the flick on at the near post for Casemiro. And important for De Ligt, coming back from injury now. Gets 25 minutes into his legs tonight. And Mason Mount also coming back into the frame at Manchester United. We know the system. The formation won't change. Just the personnel freshened up by Ruben Amorim.
Mason Mount, who after 3 months out, has now been a substitute in each of his last 8 appearances, working his way back to full fitness. Manchester United lead 3-0. Tottenham are 2-0 up against Bodo Glimt. The return legs next Thursday, but both sides on course for a meeting here in Bilbao on May the 21st, and Chelsea well set for the Conference League final a week later in Wroclaw. And in fact, there's been another goal in Sweden. John Southall.
Job done, Djurgården 0, Chelsea 4. Nicholas Jackson on as a sub at half-times, just scored his second. Brilliant finish into the top right-hand corner, 12th of the season, and surely Chelsea are going into the final. Djurgården 0, Chelsea 4.
Those flights will be getting booked up for Poland by the Chelsea support. Manchester United 3-0. Ball played out by Casemiro to Yoro. Mason Mount gives it back to Yoro. Every outfield player is in the Athletic Bilbao half away towards our right-hand side.
And you know, it's a really interesting change what Ruben Amorim's made, because he's taken Ugarte off, who's been sat as a defensive holding midfielder alongside Casemiro. He's brought on Mason Mount, who is now playing higher up the field. So he's thinking like me, Ruben Amorim. He wants the job done tonight. He wants to push on, get more goals. Casemiro is now sat as the deepest line midfielder. Fernandes will sit alongside him at points, but Fernandes, Mount and Garnacho are now almost a 3 in behind Højlund. He wants another goal.
So Chelsea leading 4-0. Real Betis in the other semi-final are 2-0 up at home to Fiorentina, and there's now been another goal in North London. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Third goal for Tottenham. What a coolly taken penalty by Dominic Solanke. Did it in the quarter-final against Eintracht Frankfurt. Ran to the ball, swung his right leg back, almost paused, stopped like a statue. Goalkeeper went to his left, Solanke to his right. Romero was fouled for the penalty. Tottenham haven't started the second half well, but listen to the noise inside the stadium. We could be heading towards Tottenham against Manchester United in the Europa League final. Tottenham 3, Bodo Glimt 0.
Cross from that right-hand side for Athletic Bilbao. Ange Postecoglou could still yet deliver on his promise of always winning silverware in his second season. Stabbed away by Casemiro, held up by Højlund, and then the ball passed out by Bruno Fernandes to Garnacho. Takes a tumble. Bachiche gives it towards Nico Williams. Haven't really seen much of him, but he now works his magic. He goes to ground and the referee says no penalty as he dropped to the floor inside the penalty area. Midway through the second half, Manchester United now pick up the loose ball, and it's with Mason Mount running forward. Dorgu is coming up on the overlap on the left-hand side. Mason Mount to the edge of the area. Here is Dorgu to his left inside the box. Here now is Garnacho. Shot blocked and will fall to Inaki Williams midway through the Athletic Bilbao half. And Inaki Williams goes away from a non-existent challenge from Yoro. Now running at the heart of the Manchester United defence. Lindelof backpedals. Sanade stumbling, fumbling his way to the edge of the area, and he loses the ball on the edge of the box.
Risky from Manchester United, committed bodies forward, committed men forward, going looking for that fourth goal. left themselves exposed. There were 3-on-3 at the back at one point. That's not a situation that Manchester United want to find themselves in going into the last 20 minutes or so of this game.
Manchester United 3-0 up. Tottenham are leading by 3-0. Tell you what, Bilbao could be extremely busy in a few weeks' time.
You're allowing yourself to think already. You don't want to get ahead of yourself already, do you? I mean, there's a lot of football still to play, but for the Premier League and for those two clubs, and let's be honest, we've said it before and we've said it in the build-up, both of these two huge clubs' season rests upon this trophy. Not the immediate success of winning a trophy, the longevity of a Champions League appearance next season and the financial reward that brings, and potentially the Tottenham manager's job rests on that as well.
And a place in the Champions League as well, so many implications at play. Another goal in Sweden. John Southall.
Well, Djurgården have got one back. Djurgården 1, Chelsea 4. Alamehu on as a substitute. Downward header 8 yards out. They've got one back. Djurgården 1, Chelsea 4.
Manchester United lead 3-0. 20 minutes remain. Ball out to Mazraoui off the chest on this near side in towards Garnacho. Bachiche wins the challenge, the very experienced left back. The clearance though will only go as far as Lindelof off his chest and a walking pace towards Mazraoui. Bruno Fernandes just jogging back, and then that was a late challenge coming in from Prados. Referee lets play continue. Yoro steps forward with the ball for Manchester United. BBC Radio 5 Live also available on the BBC Sounds app. Here now is Bruno Fernandes at a walking pace right of the centre circle. Garnacho with a layoff towards Lindelof, back inside to Bruno Fernandes. Garnacho finds it at a pocket of space, but then the ball is given away by Bruno Fernandes. Nico Williams sidesteps the challenge from the Manchester United captain and then slips, and Manchester United are back in possession.
That's better from Manchester United. Higher defensive line upon the halfway line, regain possession very quickly, and once again back in comfortable possession of the ball. De Ligt, Casemiro recycling the ball. But you do just feel, listen, 3-0 is an incredible result, but you do feel there is an opportunity for Manchester United in the remaining 20 minutes to go ahead and get that all-important fourth goal that really would put this tie to bed beyond any doubt.
It would definitely do that. They're going to obviously be without Vivian for the return leg at Old Trafford next Thursday. Not necessarily too sure that their leading scorer as well with 17 goals, Oyen Santhet, will be fit as well after he picked up an injury last week. Referee gives a free kick to Manchester United, and the omens look good for an all-English final.
It's gone very, very quiet inside this stadium. I mean, before the game, walking up to the game, you just felt there was a real buzz, a real vibe, wasn't an intensity. I even turned to you when we walked in the stadium tonight and said, I worry for Manchester United tonight. They're playing against such a good team, the atmosphere, the stadium, but you've got to give them so much credit. They've come here, they rode out the storm in the first half, they were clinical, they took their opportunities, and it's been a very good performance.
Fernandes with a free kick, drops onto the head of Casemiro. That's the voice of Paul Robinson, the former England international goalkeeper, who's with us here in Bilbao, as Aguirre Zabala just waits and then throws it out. They have Unai Simon, the Spanish international, who's on the bench, but the 24-year-old Spanish goalkeeper, now in his fourth season, throws the ball out over on that far side. He's been the Europa League goalkeeper as this loose ball picked up. Prados swings over the cross and caught by Onana, and Luke Shaw is going to be coming on for Manchester United just to try and freshen things up at the back.
It's a simple take that for Onana. The ball out on the right-hand side, looped up high into the centre of the box, and it's for Andre Onana and the Manchester United back three. It really is about concentration. We saw how they were 2-0 up in France in the first leg, and they let that slip. Defensive mistakes, goalkeeping errors, and they're in such a good position now tonight. Concentration is key between now and the end of the game. They cannot afford to concede.
Ball given away by Dorgu. That was also loose though by Athletic Bilbao in the midfield, but Inaki Williams manages to get it out towards his brother Nico, but it was hit with too much force, and although he applauds the idea, it goes out for a Manchester United throw, and Luke Shaw will be coming on, and it's Mazraoui who is going off. So Luke Shaw, who made his first start since February against Bournemouth at the weekend, he will come on, and Mazraoui goes off with some 16 minutes remaining. Manchester United very, very comfortable.
Yeah, just looking at what they're going to do now. Manchester United, with regards to wing-backs, Luke Shaw, as we know, very left-sided. Patrick Dorgu's come over and he's changed onto the right-hand side where Mazraoui was, and Luke Shaw in his more favoured position on the left-hand side, playing as a left wing-back.
Only one win in 7 coming into this game. That was that dramatic victory in the quarter-final, 5-4 against Lyon. But they do look well set for the Europa League final. Both English clubs leading by 3 goals to 0 in the first leg of the semi-finals. Nico Williams, challenged by Dorgu, coming back. Now on this, as Paul says, on this near side, the right, Lindelof. But Manchester United haven't, since they took the lead on the half hour, I can't recall many scares for Manchester United.
How many times have we said his name down there tonight? Andre Onana. Very, very rarely. Made an excellent save very early on in the first half. Shot low down to his right-hand side, which he turned around the post. And other than that, Athletic Bilbao have had very, very few opportunities. There was a free header early on in the game for Inaki Williams, where he should have at least hit the target, probably scored. But other than that, since going a goal ahead, Manchester United defensively have been excellent.
Ball played in by Dorgu. Mason Mount, right-hand side of the area with a cross. And it required, and it needed Paredes to get there as he scrambled on the edge of the 6-yard box to clear, put it out of play for a throw. Taken quickly by Manchester United on the right-hand side. Ball passed back along the ground towards De Ligt. He goes inside to Casemiro, who finds an area for Højlund. Infield to Bruno Fernandes. Now to Dorgu. 10 yards in from the right touchline. Left-footed cross, delivered deep and curls all the way out of play for a goal kick. But Manchester United lead 3-0 and we have 14 minutes remaining of normal time.
This is going to be a huge result for Manchester United. Said before the game that a draw would be a good result, or even a defeat by 1 goal, because we know how strong Athletic Bilbao are at home. We've been through all the stats, we've been through all their season records. They are an extremely strong side in the Liga. I mean, they sit 4th in the Liga, 6 points behind Athletic Madrid, 16 points off Barcelona at the top. They're looking like they're going to qualify for the Champions League through La Liga as well, because they've got 5 places. You can't underestimate what a job Manchester United have done here tonight.
Here is Sonardi. Was he clipped by Mason Mount? Yes, he was. Mason Mount will be shown a yellow card. And the ironic cheers from the Athletic Bilbao supporters. Some of them actually rise to their feet and wave the arms as they almost astounded that a decision has gone in their favour, and Mason Mount, the substitute, has just been shown a yellow.
Yeah, concentration again for Manchester United now. Athletic Bilbao, they've got a set play. Manchester United holding a high line, 10 yards outside their own box. This is important, the communication between the defenders and the goalkeeper.
Manchester United, who've only kept 2 clean sheets in their last 17 games since the end of January. But that's a good header away by Casemiro. Haven't really looked like conceding at all after those early chances for Athletic Bilbao. Manchester United have a stranglehold on this game, and they could increase their lead as Garnacho tries to run free, and in the end wins Manchester United a corner over on that far side, the left.
And that's the pace that Garnacho has. He's been a threat the whole game, but now as the game's starting to open up, if Athletic Bilbao are coming out, the turnover of possession, the ball in behind, for somebody like Garnacho, the pace that he's got and the ability that Mason Mount's got to find him, he can unlock defences. Manchester United got a corner over on the far side. Bruno Fernandes ambling over to take it in front of his own supporters, high above him. Another opportunity for United to put the ball into the penalty area.
Fiorentina have got a goal back, by the way. Real Betis 2, Fiorentina 1 is a latest score in Seville, as the corner comes in on that far side, and it was an in-swinger from Bruno Fernandes, and just required Aguirre Zabala just to take 1 step, and it was a quick step back towards his goal line to catch it two-handed with 12 minutes remaining. Manchester United 3-0 up.
I think he's had a shot there, Bruno Fernandes. I think at this stage in the game, everyone's expecting a delivery into the box. I think he just tried to catch the goalkeeper out. Cheeky corner from Bruno Fernandes.
Unai Gomez waits to come on. Spanish under-21 international midfielder. Ball in towards Sonardi. He's looked quite cumbersome at times, hasn't he, the big striker?
He struggled against the 3 centre-halves that Manchester United have had. They've controlled him very, very well. That system that they play, Manchester United, the 3 centre-halves, only had 1 to deal with tonight, Sonardi, and he's had very little service. And the Manchester United defence have marshalled him extremely well.
Nico Williams with the cross. He's looked very tired as well, Sonardi, as his head dropped, shoulders are sagging as it went over his head and out for a Manchester United throw, and Ernesto Valverde who's in his third spell as manager of Athletic Bilbao, formerly of Barcelona and Olympiacos, has done well actually in the third spell, but has got to try and create a bit of magic. Nico Williams is the player going off, one of the top players at the Euro. We watched last night with admiration for Lamine Yamal and the way that he performed, but Nico Williams has been unable to try and produce the magic that we saw in Spain's Euro success here this evening.
Well, what does that tell you about the Athletic Bilbao manager's mindset now, Valverde? He doesn't want to concede any more goals, and Nico Williams is that much of an important player to him. He's not going to offer him anything between now and the last remaining 10 minutes of this game. They've got a huge derby at the weekend against Real Sociedad as well, that they're going to want to perform in and get the result. Obviously the return leg at Old Trafford next week. If they are to get anything from this tie, Athletic Bilbao, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything in it for them tonight.
It's going to be the end of a 10-match unbeaten run at home since losing to Osasuna in mid-January in the Copa del Rey. Dorgu off the chest, keeps the ball in play on this near side the right level of the penalty area. Back with Lindelof, forward ball by Casemiro. Athletic Bilbao win the ball now in the midfield. Jaureguizar has lost it though. Here is Højlund into the D, back to Bruno Fernandes, and the goalkeeper pushes it away down towards his left hand side, pushed it out towards Dorgu. Still the pressure remains. Casemiro's teasing ball in. It dropped as it curled on a diagonal into that dangerous area in the 6-yard box, and it flashes its way out for a goal kick. Manchester United in front of a crowd of 51,890. The record attendance was 52,114 against Rangers in the previous round, and it's still 3-0 to the away team.
What a ball that was by Casemiro. Garnacho really unlucky not to get on the end of that at the far post. He was on the angle from the 18-yard box, 5 yards out, and he's put it between the 6-yard line, the horizontal 6-yard line, and the post, and he's just gone in that gap there. The goalkeeper's pulled his hand away, didn't want to touch it. Wonderful cross by Casemiro.
Manchester United take a quick free kick. Up it goes to Højlund. Paredes goes with him, ushers him out. Paredes actually pushed Højlund. There was a blatant push. The crowd might complain. The referee's got that, and then Højlund collided into, I think it might have been Gorosabel on the far side, but the referee was absolutely bang on.
They've had a few decisions, let's say, go against them tonight, Athletic Bilbao, that they feel hard done to. But a decision like that, there's two hands in Højlund's back and it's just a blatant push. The referee can't not give a free kick. You can understand the discrepancy maybe on other decisions, but the fans and the players inside this stadium are so frustrated with this referee. Every time he puts his whistle to his mouth and points in the direction of Manchester United, the place is in uproar.
The Manchester United supporters we can hear high up over on that far side, as Manchester United have a free kick 10 yards in from the left touchline. Bruno Fernandes is going to take it. He plays it along the ground. Dorgu hits it first time, left-footed. Blocked by those red and white striped shirts that were packed inside the penalty area. And then Luke Shaw will tidy up on the halfway line all the way back to Andre Onana, who has been almost like a bystander for large parts of this semi-final first leg here on 5 Live and also Radio Manchester.
They've controlled the second half, Manchester United, how they had to. That'll be one of the words that Ruben Amorim will have said at half-time. He said, look, whatever we do not concede. The concentration to get through this half, protect the goalkeeper, stay switched on, stay with your men, track runners, and they've done that, Manchester United. Going forward, they haven't been as potent as they were in the first half, but they're still searching for that fourth.
As Manchester United with Garnacho almost got it. Garnacho again keeps the ball in play with a cutback. Højlund, first touch let him down with his back to goal, 8 yards out, and the ball runs out of play for a throw on that far side, 3-0.
Good play again by Manchester United. Luke Shaw it is this time on the left hand side, cut back into Garnacho, hits it well, strikes it first time but straight at the goalkeeper. Again, ball recycled and Manchester United can't make anything of it, but it gives the Manchester United manager now an opportunity to make 2 more substitutions down beneath us.
So Garnacho and Dorgu are coming off, and it is Amad Diallo and Mainoo who are going to be coming on. Garnacho is told to hurry up, so Mainoo comes on for Garnacho, and Amad and De Ligt coming back from injury. You know, that is another bonus for Ruben Amorim, an opportunity to get the players, as Garnacho's shown a yellow card for taking too long to leave the field of play. De Ligt coming back into the side after injury, and in fact for Ahmad, hasn't played since February. He's missed the last 15 games, so he's going to get a valuable run out here for 6 minutes of normal time.
Really good evening this could be for Manchester United, getting De Ligt back, Ahmad back, minutes on the pitch, also looking like they're going to win the game comfortably. He's changed his pack, Ruben Amorim, and every player to a man has put in a shift for Manchester United tonight. Garnacho's just departed, arguably one of the better players. I think he's always looked sharp, he's been a threat in behind, but they've played well tonight, Manchester United.
In the Premier League earlier, Nottingham Forest 0, Brentford 2. Tottenham lead Bodo Glimt by 3-0. Chelsea are 4-1 up away at Djurgården, and Real Betis lead Fiorentina by 2-1 in the other Conference League semi-final. This is BBC Radio 5 Live with 5 minutes remaining of normal time. Saturday's 5 Live Sport, Everton-Ipswich, the penultimate game at Goodison, will be the 3 o'clock commentary. Arsenal-Bournemouth follows at 5:30. And on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, Brighton and Hove Albion against Newcastle is the commentary at 2, to be followed by Chelsea against the champions Liverpool. Brentford Manchester United at 2 is on Sports Extra. West Ham against Spurs, a 2 o'clock kickoff, will be on the BBC Sport website. That's before we return to European competition, and where we'll be live in Paris next Wednesday for that Champions League semi-final second leg. Arsenal looking to overturn that slender deficit, and then a choice of listening for the 2 Europa League semi-finals in a week's time. Spurs will be in the Arctic Circle, Manchester United will be at Old Trafford. But this is their 100th game in the Europa League, in its various guises, the Fairs Cup and the UEFA Cup, and they're going to celebrate it with a victory, and surely a platform to progress to the Europa League final and a return trip to northern Spain in 3 weeks' time.
They've done very, very well tonight, Manchester United. A professional performance in the first 20 minutes to keep tight when they were under pressure in the atmosphere, what they came out into tonight, the expectancy from the home crowd. They managed that, they measured that, they took hold of the ball, they got possession and they got the goal.
Shaw with a cross, Bruno Fernandes first time right-footed, couldn't keep it down. 12 yards out, hit it with the outside of the right boot, over the top, goal kick, still 3-0 United.
You almost expect to see the back of the net ripple there, don't you? Bruno Fernandes, looking on the replay now, he's running away, he's frustrated with himself. Luke Shaw's done well since he's come on down that left-hand side. He doesn't just flash it across the box, he looks up, pulls it back strategically to the edge of the box to Bruno Fernandes, outside of the right boot, up and over the crossbar, unlike him.
Alvaro Diallo is going to be coming on, and it is going to be Inaki Williams who leaves the field of play. So it's a 25-year-old forward who's gone 20 games without a goal. Scored 16 goals for Braga last season, but has really struggled. 1 goal in 24 appearances since his arrival, as there is a trickle towards the exits from the Athletic Bilbao supporters as they see their side trailing by 3-0. Manchester United, winners of the Europa League in 2017. They lost 4 years later to Villarreal, but look well set to reach the Europa League final once again. Ahmed waits for this bouncing ball to settle. Level the penalty area on the right-hand side, under 3 minutes remaining. Comes on the inside, plays the ball in field. Bruno Fernandes controls it, right-footed. Højlund with a header, couldn't get over it. 7 yards out, flag was up anyway, wouldn't have counted, still 3-0.
Mistimed his run there, Højlund. Watching him from up here, you can see the shift that he puts in. He really works hard for his team, Rasmus Højlund. Gets himself in some good positions, but his enthusiasm sometimes takes him that little step too far. And that was the case there. He can see that he's got himself in a really good position, but his willingness, his enthusiasm, his want to get on the end of crosses just takes him offside.
3-0 to Manchester United here. It was 3-0 to Tottenham. There's been another goal. Alistair Bruce ball.
This time for Bodo Glimt. Now, you wouldn't say it turns the tie on its head, but we've been saying it ahead of this tie all week. Bodo Glimt's home record is quite something on the artificial pitch. Tottenham now only have the 2-goal cushion. Ulrich Soltnes, the captain, allowed the freedom of the Tottenham box, the shot deflection of Bentancur's left boot, and that gives Bodo Glimt some hope. Their fans joyous in bright yellow here. Tottenham 3, Bodo Glimt 1.
On the Commentators View podcast that we actually recorded with Ali and John Murray this morning, I think it'll drop on the 5 Live Football Daily feed tomorrow. I teased the fact that Herr Chapman sometimes becomes this editor-in-chief when he's the presenter, and I'm not getting ideas above my station, but I would suggest now with that goal that, and obviously the hierarchy will make the decision, the editor or the editors, But I would suggest now that Tottenham Bodo Glimt next Thursday would be on 5 Live and Manchester United will be on Sports Extra.
Well, Bodo Glimt lost at Lazio 3-1 and obviously went through on penalties. They won at home 2-0, but they lost the away leg 3-1. So it's not a scoreline that they're adverse to, playing against. They won at home 3-0 against Olympiacos, lost away 2-1. Won at home 5-2 against FC Twente, lost away. There's a theme there, isn't there? Very good at home.
You've been doing your homework. Shaw with a free kick for Manchester United, drops inside the area, calls all the way out towards De Ligt. De Ligt tries to place it back across from the right-hand side, comes off the back of the legs of Bacice, and it'll go out for a Manchester United corner kick, as there are a line of stewards that have formed not just on the outside of the Manchester United away contingent, high up away towards our right, but right through the middle of them as well with their luminous jackets. 30 seconds remain of normal time. Manchester United with those 3 first-half goals still very much in the ascendancy. Corner kick for Manchester United on the near side, the right. And it's played by Ahmed to Bruno Fernandes, who chips it into the penalty area. The header out. Yoro will let it run towards Mason Mount. Shaw passes the ball back out to Mason Mount on that far side, the left. He goes infield to Mainu. They work it back out towards the left again. In comes the cross towards Højlund. And then it's cleared away by Paredes. We're going to have 4 minutes of added on time here in the San Mamés Stadium, where Manchester United looking for a 4th goal to round off what would be an excellent night's work. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, De Ligt. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our right. Athletic Bilbao are chasing, and they're chasing shadows at the moment. Manchester United in utter control.
I think we're already at a stage where we can call it an excellent night's work, can't we, from Manchester United? I don't think you can underestimate the task that was in front of them this evening, playing against a very good side who are very rarely humbled at home, especially the way that Manchester United have come here and controlled the game. Granted, against 10 men, but they've still had to perform, Manchester United, and they have done.
Athletic Bilbao forward, the cross. Yoro takes it out of the path of De Ligt. There was Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad, Fernandes all getting a little touch. Mason Mount loses out in the challenge by Prados. Now an opportunity to come forward. This is Jallo doing 2 or 3 step-overs into the penalty area, surrounded by blue shirts, battling for it. Casemiro too strong, helped out by Bruno Fernandes. Good block by Yoro. And Manchester United haven't kept many clean sheets, but they stood firm there under late pressure from the Spanish side.
It's the first time in the second half we've seen any real attacking intent from the home side with 10 men.
Ball works out towards that right. In it comes, and the header unable to get over the top of it from Unai Gomez. Off target, goal kick. It remains Athletic Bilbao 0, Manchester United 3.
They dared to venture into the final third of Manchester United, but they dealt with it well, defended it extremely well, defended the cross. The cross was too high that time for Gomez, came to nothing. Manchester United now taking the time with this goal kick. Lenny Yoro's just been booked for kicking another ball onto the pitch. That's becoming a new tactic, that, isn't it? The players are getting onto that, kicking a second ball onto the pitch to stop the game. Referee wasn't having any of it, showed him a yellow card.
So Yoro booked, joining Mason Mount. By my watch, we are probably about 90 seconds away. Bruno Fernandes, I was going to say at a walking pace, he's hardly moving at all. He's so gentle is the pace that he's walking at, and that very nice and steady. See, already the stewards are starting to form down by the technical area. Wait for the final whistle just to see or hear the reaction aimed in the direction of the Norwegian referee Espen Eskars, because Manchester United took the lead through a Casemiro header on the half hour, but then the decision for Vivian to be sent off for a foul on Højlund, that Fernandes converted the penalty to make it 2-0 after 37 minutes. They will vent their fury at the Norwegian.
They'll feel hard done to, they certainly will. The penalty and the decision to send off Vivian has changed the game. It's changed the game completely. The whole complex of the game at that point did a 360, didn't it? The home team were the favourites. You think they'd be in the ascendancy. Started the game well, had 1 or 2 opportunities in the Manchester United box. Manchester United arguably scored against the run of play with that Casemiro header, but then the penalty that just changed everything.
Yoro, the free kick goes against Manchester United. We're inside the last 30 seconds of added on time. Athletic Bilbao 0, Manchester United 3. Manchester United just have to see out these closing seconds for what would be an excellent night's work in northern Spain. It's a free kick for Athletic Bilbao. Alvaro Giallo stands over it. You've also got Jorge as well. Manchester United have got every dark blue shirt back in and around the penalty area. Jorge looks like he's going to strike this from 30 yards. Giallo is also there. It's going to have to be something special. Time is almost up. Giallo hits it, and Onana makes the save. Hit it right-footed, sailed into the arms of the Manchester United goalkeeper. And Manchester United, that should be that. There indeed is the final whistle. Ruben Amorim said nothing can save our season. However, the prospects of a Europa League trophy remains very much a possibility for Manchester United, and they are surely bound back for Bilbao after an excellent night's work, where 3 first-half goals have surely given them the platform to progress as they lead by 3-0 to take into that return leg at Old Trafford.
It's taken a while, but that is the best performance from Manchester United under Ruben Amorim. You can't underplay the difficulty of coming here tonight. Yes, it changed when they went down to 10 men, but Manchester United to a man tonight were excellent. They understood their job, they understood their roles, they changed it up at times, they went longer, they went more direct. They put Casemiro alongside Højlund when Onana was taking long goal kicks or free kicks. Garnacho was a real threat, a thorn in the side. Harry Maguire was a leader, he was excellent. And for Manchester United as well, to get De Ligt, to get Ahmad, Kobbie Mainoo onto the pitch as well tonight, all in preparation for next week's home tie against Athletic Bilbao. For Tottenham and Manchester United, I don't think there's going to be much to see at the weekend in the Premier League. All eyes are on next week.
An all-English final is on the cards. Bruno Fernandes with 2 goals takes his tally to 7 in the Europa League. They have beaten Athletic Bilbao by 3-0.